Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today is Tuesday, and you're in the right place at the right time. But we're going to have a fun show today. I tell you, it's going to be, an interesting first time guest. He's here in the green room, waiting on me to get my announcements out the way so we can get him on the air. And I'm so excited to have him on the air. This is his first time coming on the show today, and I'm really excited. I'm gonna get him to tell on himself, y'all. Y'all just don't know. I'm gonna get him to tell on himself. He don't even know it yet, but I'm excited. So before we get started, I always like to give a shout out to my mentor and my spiritual leader. He has been with me 30 plus years, and I tell you, it's no small task having somebody that has been mentoring you and leading you and guiding you for 30 plus years. So I'm so excited that he has been in my life for those 30 plus years. And if you don't have a mentor, get you one. If you don't have somebody that has been guiding you and leading you, you need to get somebody. And when you get them, pray for them. Make their life easy. Don't give them a hard time because when you have a leader and they have not just you, they got multiple people to think about. Keep that in mind. So let's go over here. I want to invite you all over to my website, ask-dr-ron.com. When you get over there, I want you to browse around and take a look at all of my advertisers. These are people that help make it possible to do what I do. And each and every one of them has been vetted out. They're all good at what they do. If you are interested in finding someone to help you get on the World Wide Web, RRJ Web Solutions can help you do that. If you are interested in understanding how green energy works and how you can save money doing green energy, Sir Synergy is the place for you to check out. Port Again Sam has been with me for 10 plus years. He brings in some of the best wines and spirits from all over the world. And I tell you, once you start shopping from Sam, you'll never go back anyplace else. You're going to always want to know what Sam has got. Prince Hunter Financial Group, if you are interested in learning how to do the stock market, Forex market, he is offering four free classes for you to get information on how the stock market works. And I tell you, once you understand, it's an income opportunity there that you can take advantage of, getting yourself involved with doing trading in the marketplace. Okay, so definitely go over and check out what's going on with all of these advertisers. Okay, so like I said before, this is the first time that this young man has been on the show, and I tell you, I have had the honor and the privilege to call this young man nephew. Okay, all of his life I have been calling him nephew. And he has had an adventurous life. I mean, he has been in the sports world, got championship rings, and man, all kind of stuff. So, for my honor and privilege to welcome to the show, Willis Marshall III. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. It's a privilege to be here. A blessing to be here. I'm glad you finally called me and asked me. I've been watching you do your thing, and we've been talking about it, but I've just seen all the success. But no, I'm honored. Like I said, I was telling my brothers, I was like, I finally got me on the show. So thank you.
Yeah. Well, I hope they tune in. They can tune in and ask questions. They can put you on the hot seat if they want to. You know, but just to give everybody a little background, you come from a very sports active family. You've been involved in sports. Your dad was in sports. He played, when he was in college, and Your brothers all have been in sports. Everybody in your family, have been very active in sports. And you have gone on to play in many leagues, Arena League, the CFL, So when you were a player, what would you say was the most exciting thing that you can remember? Because kind of old now, So I know this was in your younger days. What was some of the most exciting that you remember from being in the arena of sports?
I think it was some of the most fun times for me was the people. Meeting different people, all walks of life. When I played in the CFL, I'll start there out of college. Even in college, give a little background about myself. One thing about me, I've been blessed. I don't talk about it much, but I've been blessed to win on every level I've played in. In high school, I have a state championship in regards to football, and we're just talking straight sports. But I have a high school state championship. I've got 3 national championships in college. I won at Youngstown State University in Ohio. I got 3 Division I AA national championships. My first year playing professional football in the Canadian Football League, the CFL, I was blessed to win the Grey Cup, which is their version of the Super Bowl. So my rookie year, we won the Grey Cup. I played another year in the CFL with aspirations to be in the NFL, like most kids do that grow up playing ball. They want to play in the NFL as well. But at the same time, I was making good money doing something I loved. So I didn't care where. Came back to the United States and got my opportunity to play arena football because nobody at the time wanted somebody that was 5'9", 5'10". But arena football was paying 6 figures, so I'm like, hey, I get to be on national TV still, and I get to still make great money. And that ended up being a godsend because that league took off, and so did I, and was able to do something I love. But I ended up winning my first year in arena football. We won the championship, the Arena Bowl, which is like the Super Bowl. I won it again 3-4 years later when I played for Denver. So Elway brought me in, and I never thought I would go to Denver, Colorado. But John Elway gave me a call and said, "Come on out, check it out." I didn't realize, number one, it was as diverse as it is, which is a good thing coming from Detroit. I didn't mind. Like I said, it's not about the people as far as color or anything like that, but it was about just good people. Genuine people, and that was a shock to me to see as many of us out there in Denver, Colorado. 325 days of sunshine, so I couldn't beat that either. But one thing I'll say is, you asked me about experiences. It was the people. I've talked about that a lot. You get to have a lot of friends now after I'm retired, and people I still keep in contact with. That was big for me. These are genuine friends. I tend to say that playing football is probably as close as you can get to being in the Army or being in the service, because you're actually bleeding with these people and battling with these people day in, day out. And when you're in battle, you don't care what color the man is. All you care about is that they have your back. And that's being in the service is probably the closest thing I can equate that to. So, the people for me is something that stands out. And besides the travel and the accolades, those, you hang those on the shelf. But again, the memories you share with everyone else never fade.
Now you brought up John Elway's name. That was a good name drop. I like that. I've heard through many people throughout the sports industry that he is one of the best owners to work for, because he was being a former player in his life, that he has a perspective on the game and being an owner that allows people to really appreciate working with him. Is that true or not true? A myth? What?
Well, I'll say this. Mr. Elway, he did a good job of ingratiating himself with me. When I came in, he made me feel at home. I'll be honest, he took care of me as far as my contract too, so I can't complain in regards to that. Outside of X and O's, we had a lot of good conversations. And I'll say one thing about Mr. Elway. When I first met him in 2004, I think he was coming off a couple of hard times in his life. He had just lost his dad. He had a couple other things that happened with him regarding maybe some business matters. I wouldn't say negative. It was just some things that were going on that weren't his brightest days all at the same time. So when we came in, he he had a conversation with me because the one bright spot is he was just getting ready to be inducted to the Hall of Fame. And so right after I signed my contract, I had a meeting with him just about some business with the team. But he asked me, he read to me his speech, what he was going to say, and so on and so forth, which to me was kind of an honor. I was able to not critique him, but tell him it sounded good. I mean, I'm not going to tell him Mr. Elway it sounded bad, but the fact that he was inducted to the Hall of Fame and me be there, sitting there having a conversation with somebody like that, I felt like that was extremely genuine, that he was able to humble himself to ask me how his Hall of Fame speech sounded. So to answer your question, he was a really good guy. I've never had any bad things to say. He was a great owner. He made sure we had everything we needed from a standpoint of team success. I think that's why we were able to succeed, because he gave us what we needed, and he brought in the right pieces. Like you say, he knows football. So to be an owner, general manager, you have to know the right pieces to put together. It's not about having the fastest or the strongest, but it's can these guys be cohesive together.
Yeah. So in other words, it was a great time working with him.
It was a great time. It was a great time. It was a great time. We had a ball. We had a ball. And it would be funny because after some games, we would come in. He was a player before he was the owner and coach. So he enjoyed after the game sitting around and having a conversation or eating a meal with us. He wasn't too big or too high to not sit down at the table where we were, even as the owner, because he wanted to be part of that camaraderie as well. I think that's both volumes.
Yeah. Now, question. So playing in Canada, was it a big change playing in a foreign country, even though it's just across the border? Because you live in Detroit, so you're across the border from Canada all the time. So when you were in Canada, was it a big culture shock, trying to get adjusted to what was going on up in Canada? Or was it, like, hey, you fit right in?
It was a little bit of a culture shock. So the good thing about it is growing up in Detroit, as you know, we're right across the river, the water from Ontario, Canada. So as a young kid, I'm not sure, I hope my mom ain't watching, but you have to be 19. You have to be 19 to drink in Ontario. So, in high school, we would go over there and kind of not sneak in the club, but they didn't really card you at 17, 16, 17. So we'd be in the club or whatever. We weren't really drinking, but just that experience to be in the club where quote unquote grown folks were was pretty cool. So that was good. But as far as where I lived in Calgary, which is the western part of Canada, which is a little more, I would say, Canadian, because they're speaking French predominantly. You have people that speak English, they speak both, but there's a lot of people that speak French. So that was a little bit of a culture shock. But I'm going to tell you what the biggest culture shock was, in a great way. It was the fact that people were overly friendly. And I mean, I like good people. I'm not saying, Detroit has this whole stereotype, but at the same time, though, we are good people here in the city of Detroit. We are nice. But at the same time, in Canada, it was one of those things where literally, my first encounter was at the grocery store. I had just made the team. A serious encounter with someone outside of my teammates and my coaches. I had just made the team, and so I found my apartment downtown, so I went to the grocery store. The first stop was the meat market. I don't eat beef or pork, but I don't eat beef or pork. We eat chicken, fish, seafood, whatever. So I'm wondering, where am I going to get some ground turkey, or hopefully they have that here in Canada. This is 2001. So I go to the market, I'm talking to the butcher for 4 minutes. That 4-minute conversation with the butcher ended up lasting 30 minutes. That man knew my name, he knew my history, kind of like I'm telling you guys, but it was genuine. He was asking genuine questions, and he helped me because he knew I didn't eat beef or pork, but he guided me to some stores that could help me. But I walked away saying, is this guy really, really that genuine, or was he just being, nosy, or was he trying to get information out of me? I wasn't a superstar or anything, so I didn't think that. It was just more of that's how they are as a people. And to me, that was a culture shock. I wasn't used to that openness. Another thing, I wasn't Will, the black guy. I wasn't Willis, the black guy, or I was Willis from the States. That's how they looked at it. Mm-hmm. Because you may be Dr.Ron, but I'll come up to you somewhere in a restaurant, and you're speaking Portuguese. So you'll be from Portugal. That's what I loved. I mean, it was, all people from all different types of walks of life. It was a huge melting pot. And it was a culture shock, but it was a great culture shock because you had beautiful people speaking 30 dialects all in the same room, but with maybe one common language when they're music or watching the game or whatever, but they all seem to get along and mesh. To me, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Now, did you pick up any other languages while you were over there?
No, so I'm a little bit fluent in Spanish. I wouldn't say completely, but French is something that I learned in school, and I would practice it over there. I have a few friends that spoke French. It's funny because a lot of my Haitian friends, they speak a form of French dialect as
Right,
well.
right,
So
right.
to hear them speak with somebody from France and them have a conversation, to me was beautiful as well because I couldn't do it, but it's just to hear the different dialect or the same dialect spoken in a different, let's say, accent, to
Right,
me was cool.
right, right, right. Yeah, it's French is a language that's spoken a lot in Africa and a few other different countries throughout the world. So I sometimes I think it's a hard language to pick up. Myself, I've tried to speak that. I've tried to speak Spanish myself a few times. I've been trying to learn how to speak Spanish for 50 years, and I still don't know how to do it. Yeah, it's interesting, man. People have different languages and multiple languages, and they do it so easily. And I'm like, wow, that's a beautiful thing. So you talked about your sports background on the field. And I know when you hung up your game shoes, you got into some business things. You want to talk about that a little bit? What kind of business adventures are you into? Life after sports.
So before I retired, as young and healthy as I feel right now, I felt the same way then, maybe obviously a little better shape, but I still feel good. But I knew I couldn't play forever. My point is I couldn't play 30 years, much as I love the game. Father Time is undefeated. And, I couldn't stay in the game as much as I wanted. So I was smart enough to get my certification in a couple of fields before I retired. And one of those was aquatic therapy. And when I mean aquatic therapy, I mean physical therapy and training in the water. The reason I got into that is because I had an injury. Well, let me say this. Part of the thing that made me as a player and helped me succeed is I was able to stay healthy every game. Out of my whole career, I only missed 3 games due to injury, and that was 3 consecutive weeks. I hurt my ankle, hurt my knee my first year playing professional ball. My 3rd year playing professional ball. So that being said, it's such a violent sport to stay healthy. It's hard, so I owe it to the Lord Jesus Christ, number one, and then training. All that being said, in college, I hurt my ankle, and my college coach put us in the water to do rehab, and that rehab got me back on the field in less than a week. So I said to myself, wow, this hydrotherapy it must do something. So playing professional ball, I continued to train in the water, so on and so forth. And before I retired, I got certified in aquatic therapy. This is 2008. Fast forward to today, I have 14 years in that lane, and I've expounded on it. So not only do I train athletes in the water, I train substance abuse patients in the water. The way that works is, people get in the water and they are addicted to some kind of alcohol or narcotics. Pretty much replacing one euphoria with the other. So when they get out the water with me, besides being in better shape, they're not thinking about tying a rope around their arm, shooting up. They're not thinking about drinking a fifth or whatever alcohol. They are more relaxed. They're more conducive to go home and rest or go to work as opposed to, again, replacing that endorphin with another. I also do TBI patients in the water, which is traumatic brain injury, something I revolutionized, I feel, because people weren't really training traumatic brain injury patients in the water as much. The reason behind that is a lot of times traumatic brain injury people are starting from scratch to learn again. They may have to learn how to speak. They may have to learn how to walk. But all of us know when you're in the water, even as a kid, that euphoric feeling of just being happy, of being weightless, it comes over you. So that works the same way with the TBIs, where they get out the water, they're more conducive to learn. They're not in a state of, kind of fidgetiness. They can be relaxed and focus on whatever they're being taught at the time. So besides professional athletes, I have professional athletes across the country as well. and the average person needs a hip replacement, knee surgery, or if you just want to be healthier, that's what we do. The name of the company is Mojo Fit, as you guys see at the bottom of the screen. Mojo is an acronym for making objectives joint opportunity. So if your objective is to get in better shape or better health, we're that opportunity. So that's the acronym for Mojo. But it's also about getting your mojo back or keeping your mojo. We want to make sure that stays as well too. So I'm blessed to do that for as long as I'm doing it. Spoke at Narcotics Anonymous, which is really big for me to do that as well a few years ago. So it's really growing, and I'm happy right now as far as the acquired therapy.
So now, your company, is it just located in just the Detroit area, or do you have franchises all across the country?
So Detroit, Denver, and Phoenix.
Okay.
I trained out of, living in Denver and Phoenix. I was able to establish a client base there, so on and so forth. So here, Denver and Phoenix. And the good thing about those two places, especially Phoenix, every other home has a pool. So as opposed to having to go to a gym, I could train a lot of people at their home, or they could have come to my home, in Phoenix. It makes it a lot easier too, though, as far as moving around the metro area. So, and then the weather is what it is. Obviously, it's hot, so people love getting in the water. And Denver is the same way. Now, my challenge here in Detroit when I first came back home was we don't have as many pools around the metro area. So what I had to do was I had to actually, go create relationships with the gym owners and make that happen. So, they welcomed me in, thankfully, and I was able to set up a situation where I wasn't stepping on any other trainer shoes, but also bringing in clients for them, which they like. So they like, hey, there's 2 or 3 people that we would have never had in the gym, but because you're here, we don't mind. So doing that was a little bit of a hurdle, but hey, when you put your mind to something, you're gonna make it happen. At least me. I'm saying that in a nice way.
Yeah. Now, I remember you were personal training for a while too. Is that something you still do?
Yep, I still do that as well. That's all incorporated with Mojo Fit. So the personal training side of it is still there. I still do the whole gamut. And that was one thing that when I started this, I didn't want to be the typical professional athlete guy that turns trainer. To me, that wasn't going to make the amount of money I need to make to support the lifestyle that I want to live or for my kids to have. So finding my own lane with the aquatic therapy was huge because now, besides the regular personal training I can do that in my sleep. I've done that all my life. I have something else I can add to it. And again, let's say, for example, your company, your Ford, your Chrysler, your GM, you have an employee that tears his knee up or hurts his hip. Well, it's a win-win situation for that employee to get back to work as soon as possible. So they'll send that employee to me where they get back to work. The insurance company doesn't want to have to pay for rehab for forever. So again, coming to me, they get back to work quicker, so they don't mind paying to come see me, the insurance company. So it's a win-win for everybody. They're not coming out of the pocket as much. The client is healthy, and they're healthier than they were before they came to see me. And then, like I said, the company's happy because you're back to work. So I have relationships with everybody. The physicians, I have to deal with the doctors because, again, they have to know who that client is coming to see. So for me, I had to educate myself on a lot of things. I had to get certifications on things so I can be well-versed and not just be able to say, hey, I can offer getting healthier. I have to explain each step of the way why what I'm doing is going to make this person healthier. Amputees. I have probably about 5 or 6 amputees that I deal with, and that's a whole other game. So I had to had to go get certified on how to properly train people with feet that may have been amputated, knees that possibly have been reconstructed or possibly may need amputation. So what can I do to strengthen it so that person doesn't get his leg amputated? So all these types of things, but I would say, it's made me a better overall therapist, trainer, however you want to look at it.
Yeah. Now, having location in 3 different states, do you have other people that work with you that do what you do, or do you have to do all the work yourself?
No, definitely not. I have other people that work with me, and a few of these people are people that I were actually training. I was training before, and they loved what we did, and they decided to say, hey, we do A, B, and C for a living, but we can do this part-time, and, they good supplemental income for them as well. and it keeps my portfolio alive under the Mojo Fit name. So that's huge too, to have people you can trust to work with you and keep the company going, especially when I'm not obviously in Denver or Phoenix at the same time. I can't be everywhere at once.
Right.
So,
Right.
to have that and to have the name itself, say, hey, I train under Mojo Fit, or hey, check out Mojo Fit. To me, that's big, because when I go back and I see these people and everything that I implemented is working, that means I'm doing something right.
Yeah. Now, with many of the sports teams that you've worked with, did you recruit any of those former players to work with you within your organization?
Yeah, that's a good question. So one of my good friends works with me out in Colorado. A couple guys that train with another guy, Phoenix. He didn't play with me, but I trained his son, and he saw how his son got better. So he started working out. Now he's certified. He does what I do out in Phoenix. So having those relationships, like I said, it's a good question. Having those relationships definitely helped, because they were already able to see how it worked. So it's kind of like I was a testimony, and they wanted to get involved. And then as far as making money, it's an easy way to, supplement your income, because you're also staying in shape yourself. One good thing about it is it keeps me healthy, because I work out with my clients. So the older I get, I'm not walking around limping. I think because my job keeps me staying active. It keeps me getting in the water. I help my youngest brother. My youngest brother's a head coach for one of the high school teams out here, and I coach the receivers. But I'm that coach that likes to get up and run around with the boys. It keeps me youthful. It keeps me smiling. It keeps me happy. They mess with me. But at the same time, they also know that a lot of kids, a lot of guys my age aren't doing that. So they can call me old school, but I'm not now. It's a compliment.
Yeah. Yeah. So now that you brought it up, your brothers were all in sports as well. One's got a championship ring from college in Northwestern, and I think Aaron was Youngstown, wasn't it?
Yes, sir. Yep, Youngstown State. Yep.
Yeah. So your whole family, your brothers, man, were very, very sports activated, and now they're breeding athletes. So we're going to talk about one of your nephews that had a press conference, I think, a couple of years ago as the hottest upcoming quarterback, in the country at that particular time. Are you at liberty to talk about that, or is that a secret or something like that?
Oh no, it's not a secret. It's public knowledge. So Brian, my middle brother, my oldest nephew, second oldest nephew, by Isaiah, his son, he got offered by the University of Michigan as a seventh grader. And actually, he was on Good Morning America, because it's the first time a kid that young had been offered by such a good school. And he is that good of a talent. I mean, he's good, but that has never happened before, so it's unprecedented. So, and kudos to my brothers, Brian and Aaron, because Aaron's a quarterback, my youngest brother, and obviously Brian's his dad, but he did a lot of his training under Aaron too, though. So, again, it's a family thing, and we're going to take care of each other. But definitely, Isaiah, he's doing well now. He's going to be a junior in high school. He's probably one of the highest, he's top 2 or 3 quarterbacks in the state of Michigan right now. He has probably about 30 schools he can choose from. My other nephew, Amir, Christina's son,
Right.
Literally just last week, he's on CBS Sports and announced his commitment. He's going to be a senior this year, but he's going to the University of Michigan. So Isaiah hasn't announced where he's going yet, but Amir did announce the University of Michigan. He plays tackle or guard. I'm not sure what they're going to put him at on the O-line, but he's the top tackle guard in the state of Michigan right now. So to have all these in the family, and these are my nephews. So it's funny to me because they're getting all this attention, but I think about them as kids and babies still. And they still are in the rightful way, but they're still, I'm loving their maturation. And I think it was good for them to see me and their dad and their uncles kind of come through the whole little pipeline of playing sports and knowing how to conduct yourself. And I think that's huge, because bigger than anything else, they're great kids, they're better students, good people, and that's huge. I know a lot of kids that are great athletes, but they may not have the support system. I'm not saying they're bad people, but they just don't have that support system to maybe know right from wrong when it comes to certain things. And I think it does benefit that, like I said, my nephews had such a tight net around them of people to help, guide them in the right way.
So now, do they play other sports other than football? Are they, multi-sport like basketball, baseball, things like that?
Yeah, so they both play basketball. They play basketball. My youngest son plays basketball as well. I just got back from a tournament with him in Orlando. It's funny because they're all stair steps. So one's going to be a senior in high school, one's going to be a junior, one's going to be a sophomore. But they all play football, basketball, and they run track.
Okay.
So, and they say that, it's a stat that's been out circulating the past few years that says that multi-athlete or multi-sport athletes are typically the ones that succeed at the highest level, no matter what sport they decide to go with. So you can be a tennis player, but you may have played basketball, you may have ran track, but you did multiple things. And not saying it's wrong to focus on one thing, but playing multiple sports, I think what it is it trains your body, your ligaments, for different types of movements.
Right.
So now you've got, it's kind of like cross training. Now when you put that all together, you focus on one thing, you're that much stronger. And so I think that's kind of the secret sauce.
Yeah. So, I know you work with your nephews and your son quite a bit. What would you say to other, athletes that are coming up would be the gold nugget? Okay, we understand, you want to be smart and, not tear your body up. But, when you're, coming up, you just want to get there, and you're young, you got that energy of being a youth and being invincible. But, and I know your family probably hears it on a regular basis because I know they're going to get kept down to earth. But what would you say other kids that are out there that, that don't have exposure to, people like yourself?
And I guess in a short sentence, I would tell them and then I would explain. I say it often, and I heard this somewhere else before, so it didn't come from me. But if your will to succeed is as strong as your desire to breathe, then you'll be successful.
Wow.
And that's
say that again now. If your will to succeed, because I don't want you to say that fast. I want them to catch that. If your will to succeed,
is as strong as your desire to breathe,
okay,
then you will be successful. And where that came from is I heard a motivational speaker one time talking about somebody wanted to learn how to be successful, so he asked the guy how to be successful. And the guy said, well, meet me at the beach at 6 in the morning. And so the guy went to the beach and standing way out in the water and told the guy to walk in the water. And so the guy didn't know what was going on, but he kept walking until he became submerged. And, the guy held him down for a second, and he came up, with a big gasp of air. And he said, told him just what I told you. Now, if your will to succeed is as strong as your desire to breathe, and to me, that's struck so much because it has to be that strong.
Right.
One of my coaches told me when I played for Denver, my coach playing for Denver, professional coach, he said to me, his hand was right below the ceiling. So he said, hey, you have, now this is for the camera so you can see, this is the ceiling. He would say, you have your doctors right here, you have your dentist right here, then you have your professional athletes. And what he's trying to say is there may be 1 million doctors, there may be 500,000 dentists, but there are only about 200,000, or just hypothetical numbers, professional athletes, football players in your sport. So it's very rare that you'll find somebody like you. So his point was embrace it. And professional sports, they tell you all the time, you're only pretty much you're as good as your last. What have you done for me lately? It's extreme business. So to be successful, you have to have guardrails. You have to be focused, and you have to have determination. And that's what that line gives you. You have to have that desire to want to be better than any person around you and do what it has to do. Now, that doesn't mean doing anything reckless. It just means getting up, doing things that are uncomfortable. Another thing I would say is you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And that's the truth. And I tell my guys that all the time, when you're comfortable being uncomfortable, now you're on the path to success because you've trained yourself to say, hey, even though it's 4:30 in the morning, I have to get up and do this. I know it's 11 o'clock in the evening and I want to go to sleep, but I need to do A, B, and C so that the next day D, E, and F can be right, if that makes sense. I have to do A, B, and C so that D, E, and F can make sure that flows. So, those are little things that I really encourage people, because you're not going to always have people around you to support you. Even though I had a good support system, a lot of things I've done in my life was on my own, because I took what I learned. A lot of things maybe I didn't know, I had to learn it myself, not bump my head against the wall. And I'll say that too, though. I haven't always been the most obedient and listened when I should have listened. But again, that's a testimony that I have to humble myself and say. And maybe that's one last thing I will say, besides staying straight up, being humble. Humility, I think, for me, one of the biggest things in my career was I was afraid I would lose it, because I was doing something I love, making good money, and I didn't want anybody to take it from me. And I said to myself, I would do this for a fraction of what they're paying me, but I can't believe I'm making what I'm making, doing something I love to do. So that put a little bit of a fear. I wouldn't say a bad fear. It was a fear that I needed to make sure I stayed uncomfortable, to make sure I kept my job. But there was always somebody coming in trying to take my position every year, in the middle of the year. And then when it got to the point where in professional football, because the union-wise, when you play so long, your salary becomes a minimum. You get so much. And so you can kind of price yourself out if you're not putting that output out on the field. They're paying you $2 million and you're giving them $600,000 worth of play, then guess what they're going to do? They're going to bring a kid in and pay him $300,000 and save some money and get you out of it. And so that's kind of how the business works. You have to always do above and beyond. So again, I could never be comfortable. And plus, I didn't want to lose that opportunity that I felt like I was given.
Yeah. Now let me ask you this. And I know you know better because you've got the history of being in the arenas and the different sports franchises. Is there a lot of players that really don't know the business end of what they're involved in, and they get taken advantage of and frivolous with money and things of that nature? I'm sure you've seen a lot of people that started out, doing well for themselves, and now they can't buy a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, because they didn't know how to store up. I'm gonna say this. I've heard this was a saying that Evander Holyfield made many years ago when he was going through the championships that he had won. And he used to make a statement that was, if you got close enough to hear him, he would say, I let my young man work for my old man. So the money that he made while he was young, he was putting, stacks aside so that when he got old and not able to make that, millions of dollars that he commanded in the ring, he would have millions of dollars to be able to still survive and have that quality of lifestyle. Because he was a brother that believed in making babies, boy. He had a whole bunch of them. But that statement, speaks to what he wanted to do with money and acquiring wealth and keeping wealth. So that being said, are there still in the industry today not people being taught what to do with their money?
Yeah, and that's it definitely is. It happens all the time. And I think, I'm not gonna say it's sad. I think one thing that happens is if you've come from a situation where even if you had people around you, even if you grew up with a little money already, if you were middle of the road, it doesn't matter. When you get a certain amount and you're on your own, it's natural impulse to say, hey, I want this right now, and I'm not worried about tomorrow because guess what? I'm getting paid again next week. Or, I've got a 3-year contract. So, I got 2 more years to where, well, when you say that repeatedly, next thing you know, you're at the end of your 3-year contract, and you really don't have much savings. And I've seen that time fly by quick. It happened with me. My first year playing CFL, I made good money. I made 6 figures. Like I said, we won the Grey Cup, so my bonuses were through the roof. And I had never seen that type of money before. I never had a car before I went to Canada. I didn't really need one. I wanted one, but my parents, they did what they had to do to make sure me and my brothers had everything we needed. So having a car at the time, I had friends with cars. I necessarily didn't need a car. I wanted one, but it wasn't a necessity, if you understand what I'm saying. College, I wanted one, but it was a necessity. You know, I had my oldest son when I was 19. So you can throw that car out the window the minute he was born because anything extra I had was going towards to make sure, he had what he needed. And thank God I had a good family to pull my slack up for where I couldn't do it on my own. So all that being said, I had to learn the hard way that you said you have to store and store early. And I think too, what I mentioned also is a lot of these guys do have families. And so it's natural to want to spoil your family. You want to go to get the big house. You want your kids to go to the best schools. You want to do all these things, but you start spending without a plan to save. Or, hey, we'll spend, but we're only going to spend up to this point. And that's where I start capping myself, almost to the point where you can call it frugal as much as you want. But, people call me not cheap. My friends joke with me, but I say all the time, I may not be eating filet mignon, but I do have chicken breast. You know what I mean?
Right,
My point is, it still tastes delicious. I'm still eating good. You know what I mean? So it's not about price tags or labels anymore. But one thing I'll say is, and this kind of goes into a little segue of just recently, I started my consulting company. It's called Marshall Land Consulting. So what it is I have a whole gamut of things that I'll be able to consult in. But one of the main things, I'm actually going to some investment classes right now. So that's perfect. You didn't even know this. I'm working with the NIL. So if you're familiar with this NIL stuff going on, this name, image, likeness, high school kids and college kids can now be paid.
Right.
The NCAA is no more, but they can now get paid. So what you have is, I'm not going to be an agent. I don't want to be an agent to where, hey, I'm taking a percentage of whatever you're getting from each company. Whatever monetary fees I get will be just that. It will be a consulting fee, one-time pay only, and I'm done. But my whole thing is, say you're a college kid, right now, these college kids are getting $1 million to $2 million deals, freshmen in college. In my mind, if you've never worked at NFL, if you never play ball again after this $1 million, $2 deal, you should be set for life. Right. So we're going to put proper things in context and things in place and structure in place so that now you guys, these young kids, can go out and they can get these deals from these corporate entities and take care of your family. But as opposed to going and buying a $800,000 home with that $1 million, go get a $150,000 home, put $600,000 up, take $200,000 and invest it into a IRA or something. Start a small business, insure that business, pay yourself back through that business. So many things that these kids don't know because they weren't taught. Right. And something that I'll say too, though, we talked about, I just kind of not jumping all over the place, but as far as, when you're young, you have a mind that's a sponge. If I'm 3 years old, you teach me Spanish, Japanese, French. By the time I'm 7, 8, I'll be fluent in all of those. Right. I know people that are. I know friends that are from Africa that know 7 languages because they were taught at a young age. So the brain can handle whatever you throw at it. It's just a lot of these kids just don't know. So our thing is going to be to put it in proper context and so they know, they have the knowledge, but also we can walk through them and hold their hand if we have to through every step of the way so that money stays right. They have a place, a safe place that is trusted as opposed to, I'm not saying agents are crooked, I'm not saying that at all, but in this business, you just don't know. There are so many people that are out to just get paid. And I guess for us and for me, where my thing is different is I'm not looking to take a percentage out of everything you do. I just want to guide you the right way, and then the next kid the right way, and then the kid after that the right way, because there are going to be constantly people coming through that are get these offers. My nephews, they're big time. They're going to get deals. What better way to start than making sure that they're safe for the rest of their lives, for free. Yeah. I'm the uncle. I don't want nothing from them. I don't even want a fee. I just want to make sure that you guys never get messed over and that, God forbid, you have an injury. Right now, you got so much money in the bank. Once you get your college degree and wherever you work at, you already have a nest egg set up.
That's a beautiful thing, man. I'm glad to hear that. Now you mentioned a couple of different businesses. Is there any more businesses you want to bring out at this time, or those are the main ones right now?
Yeah, so I started a wellness company about 3-4 years ago. COVID hit, kind of messed up a lot of things, but a company called DAO. DAO is an acronym for, it's DAO is an acronym for Defying All Odds. But DAO, it will be back up. It's a health and wellness company. I had 7 products that took off. We were picked up by Macy's. Macy's picked up Dale,
Okay.
which was huge for me right before COVID happened. So in a short nutshell, I'll be bringing Dale back now that COVID's over. I've been working on that really hard because, again, I believe in being healthy all over. It's not about working out only. It's not about just taking vitamins. It's about what you put on your body the whole time. So, again, that's something that kind of encompasses everything I'm about, and it's been going well. So that will be back out, and I will definitely maybe come back on and kind of give you guys a little brief story about the revamp of Dale.
Okay. That sounds good. Now, one of the things that made me reach out to you in the first place, I follow you on social media. I'm one of your biggest fans, and I saw that you had won an award of some type. So let's talk about that. What was that all about?
So it was just about the fitness part of it. I had a couple of clients that recommended me. I didn't even know about it, but they recommended me because of what I do in the training aspect and aquatic therapy, and I guess the lives I've touched and the healing part of it. And there's a category on the wellness and health and wellness, just representing the city. So that's how that award came about. There were several other people, but I guess the amount of letters of people that came in and voted for me pushed me over the top. But that speaks volumes because, again, I had no clue about it. So I got the phone call like, hey, can you come be here at this event, dress up, so on and so forth. But again, I think that speaks to just the relationship. I joke a lot of times about, I feel like Dr. Phil with my clients sometimes, where I'm doing a lot of listening. But one thing is, when they're with me, I think they feel it's a safe place. I'm not telling anybody what we talk about. I don't judge you. If anything, I just want you to get better health and, whatever. But typically, they're good people anyway, so it's easy to listen and every now and then maybe offer some type of advice. But yeah, that's where it came from. And there were a lot of other people in the categories, but between the several winners up there and people got acknowledged or honorees, I was very, very happy to be one of them.
What was the award again? What's the name of it?
So what it was an entrepreneurial spirit of Detroit award. Entrepreneurial Spirit of Detroit Award. So that was huge. That was real huge.
Yeah.
And they do it. Yeah, and that was like I said, they don't honor everybody, but again, just to be nominated would have been good. Like I said, I didn't even know I was nominated until they told me I had won. So somebody else nominated me, and they did the research. And I remember having to, to submit something to somewhere, but I didn't know exactly what it was for. But again, now I know, and it worked out. But people pay notice. People pay attention. That's one thing I tell my young people all the time, that you never know who's looking. You never know who's watching. You don't know what people are saying behind closed doors or you're not around. So, walk the right walk. Keep your nose clean, and things usually will happen in a good way.
Well, congratulations. I was so happy and proud. Like I said, I'm a fan of yours. I've been a fan all your life. I've been celebrating you. Even though you may not see me, I'm still rooting for you.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and it's a good thing, to be acknowledged and recognized, for what you do during the course of, your career, your life. You have many roller coasters up and down, and to keep bouncing. That's the main thing. You don't fall down and don't get up. You got to keep getting up and keep on reinventing yourself.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah.
I will say this, though. I'll say this, that glad you mentioned that, because as big of a testimony as I am, it's peaks and valleys in life. You just hit it on the head. I'm a glass half full person. I like to say I'm a realistic optimist, meaning that, I by far not a pessimist, but realistic meaning that optimist meaning that I want the best to happen, but I'm realistic enough to know that, it may not always play out that way. So do what I need to do to take care of it so it works the right way. But at the same time, I tell people it's how you look at things. I'm a positive energy person. I try to give you great energy. Even when things are bad, I force myself to try to change my mindset, because, what good am I doing by walking around sulking or being a little irritated? I'm just going to rub somebody next to me the wrong way. But good energy is what I'm all about, especially the older I get. Some battles it's like pick your battles, as they say, pick your battles.
Yep, that's right.
Choose what you allow to really, upset you. It's not much that does. My kids for me are everything. So, as long as they're good, I'm great.
Yeah. So how many kids do you have now?
3 kids. I got 2 grandkids now. 2 grandkids.
So you got 3 kids and how many grandkids?
2 grandkids, Kato and Nalani. Yep.
Three
Kato and
grandkids.
Yep.
Okay. All
Yep.
right. So now, as a legacy, what would you say you want to leave to your grandkids and your kids? I know you're still traveling with them, with the things that they're doing, but what would you want to leave them as, like you said, you got several entrepreneurial things going on, but which one would you say, hey, I'm gonna need to groom somebody for this endeavor? Which one would it be?
Probably, well, the couple businesses hopefully will be self-sustaining, but I would probably say Mojo Fit. The reason why I say that is because, and actually my oldest son, I want to start grooming him to do what I do. And hopefully the consulting part of it, that comes to fruition and growth the way I want it to grow. But right now with the aquatic therapy, that's been doing really well. And that's something that it's recession proof, meaning that people are going to always need to be either rehab, getting better health. That's never going to change. And the water is something that no matter, you can be 400 pounds, but when you get in that water, you're weightless.
Right.
So that's something that, you can now, that need can be repaired. You can do whatever you couldn't do on dry land. So I guess what I'm saying is that's something I definitely want to pass down. But, no matter what it is, just generational wealth. I want my grandkids to have something to say, hey, I can go deal with whoever, and my granddad left me so much where I can invest in this business where I don't have to go get a loan out from the bank.
Right.
Something like that. I can have a head start to where a lot of times, we don't have that leg up. There's, as they say, there's a lot of long money out here with families, and that has to start somewhere. So, my parents have done a great job. At the same time, I want to leave this earth with generational wealth, or the blueprint for them to have generational wealth where they just have to plug and play.
Man, absolutely. Yeah, I totally agree. You say you got 3 and 3 kids and 3 grandkids. Yeah, you got the same numbers I got. I got 3 kids and 3 grandkids. You got the same numbers I got. That's amazing.
And amazing. I still got 2 more kids, so that number probably will grow.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's gonna grow. Well, we're getting close to the end of the time today. Did we get a chance to cover everything that you wanted to cover? Did we leave anything off?
Nothing I can think of. If anybody out there listening and they want any information, just email me below. I'll talk to you about health regards to whether you had injuries, you just want to be in better health, no matter what it is, from diet to, a lot of people come to me all the time and say, what can I do to get in better shape? Or, no way you're 46 years old, blah, 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 what do you do to stay in shape? And so on and so forth. Can I come work out with you? So I tell people all the time, I can bedazzle the glass. I can put glitter on the rim. I can put stars on the bottom of the glass. I just can't make you drink it. All I can do is I can give you that opportunity. And that's what Mojo is. If your objective is to get better, where's the opportunity? So just, take a chance. All my consultations are free. It doesn't cost any money. My first visits are free. If you just wanted something to do on your own, this is something else I will say. I'm not doing my job if you have to stay with me your entire life. If you just want to train with me for an attaboy, you just want somebody to push you, I have that all the time. That's not a problem. But you should take the tutelage I give you and be able to do it on your own. And that's one thing I say all the time is, if I'm doing the right thing, I shouldn't have to be every step of the way with you. I shouldn't step down the road. You should be able to get healed, get better, and be able to do all those things I've taught you. So one thing I said, hit me up on the email. I'll respond for sure and help any way I can.
Okay. Well, look, I'm not going to let you get in trouble, so you're going to definitely have to shout out your mother and father on my show, because if you don't, I know you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, definitely shout out to my mama Brenda Marshall and Willis Marshall Jr. I love y'all. I love my family. My mama, your sisters, we love her. She's special. You already know she keeps us right, but my daddy too though. So my
Yeah,
parents, I can't complain. They've been awesome.
yeah,
This day, I'm blessed to have them. So I look forward to many more years with them.
yeah. Now you got a special woman in your life you need to shout out. I don't want you to get in trouble about that now.
Oh, listen. You about to say that special woman knows who she is.
Okay. All right. We're gonna leave that right there. We ain't gonna go no further with that one.
Oh, listen, I want to get her in trouble by shouting her out.
There you go. There you go. So look, I always ask two questions before I let my guests get away. And you've kind of answered one of them already, but I'm going to get it on the record. Will you come back and visit me again?
Oh yeah, I will be honored. I would love to come back. Definitely.
Definitely.
Be back.
All right. And then the second question is, what would you like to leave with the people before you leave here today?
No matter what God you believe in, say your prayers. I say that all the time. Say your prayers because, tomorrow ain't promised, but at the same time, though, my testimony is there's been a lot of things that I've gotten through and still get through of the power of prayer. And another thing I'll say is good energy. Good energy is contagious. It's infectious. So try your best to leave as much of it around as you can. Even when you're gone, your good energy will still be in this world. And that's one thing that's the truth. So I try to spread as much good energy around as I can. And the good thing about that is it usually comes back to you. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Very good, profound words. Definitely. Well, I appreciate you taking time out your busy schedule. I knew you just flew back in yesterday and, and got a chance to come hang out with me today. Hope you had a good time, so I'm looking forward to the next time. You
Yeah, it
won't
was fun. It was fun.
Yeah, you don't have to be no stranger. This is home for you now. So you stay right there and don't go anywhere. I'm going to slide over here and invite people to come out and see me on Thursday, each and every Thursday on Street News Now on Facebook and YouTube. We do a show starts every 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. The name of the show is Six Guys and You, where we talk about current events and topics. So please come check us out. Definitely check us out. We definitely always have a good controversial conversation. Also check me out each and every Saturday, 12 noon Central Standard Time from the desk of Dr. Ron. That's where I put something on your mind, give you an opportunity to think about what's going on from a different perspective, okay? And last but not least, I want to invite everybody once again to go over to ask-dr-ron.com. Please support my advertisers. Support them. They make it possible for me to do what I do, and I need you to support them. They've all been vetted out. They know what they're doing, so please check them out. I want to thank everybody that have made contributions up to this point in time. Please keep the money coming. I need your support. I thank you all. Also, subscribe, like, and share. Tell somebody. Send this out. This was an excellent interview, and we need to let people know about people like Willis Marshall III. He's got a story to tell, and he's telling it. So once again, I thank my guests for coming on and being with me on today. You guys be safe, and we will see you guys on Thursday. Peace and love.